Hi, welcome everybody. This is a new edition of our Tuesday Town Hall conversation that we host, hosted by Certified Physician Assistant Consulting. Those who don't know me, my name is Casey D'Amato. I am president of Certified PA Consulting. I've been a PA since 2003. It's going on some time now. Started Certified PA Consulting in 2009 because of my experience with business management in a multi-million-dollar medical practice in Los Angeles. I've gone on to start my own businesses and even execute successful mergers of businesses and understand the dynamics when it comes to career decisions, salary negotiations, and everything that's involved with kind of the business side of medicine that we're not really taught about in PA school. So we come live every single week, and we host a new video, and we talk about what's going on, how to help PAs understand how to negotiate, when it's appropriate to negotiate, when it's not, when it might just be time to plan an exit. So this week we're talking about why salary reports, why PA salary reports are only one tool out of many. Just referencing my notes here, making sure I don't forget anything. And I've spoken about this topic in the past. It's really, really important to realize that this tool, while it is a published data that we have access to, whether it is the AAPA salary report or whether it's a specialty salary report, it's important to realize that typically the response rate is relatively low with those type of surveys comparatively, like maybe 50% or at most 60%. So you don't have really a full sampling of the entire profession. And typically it does tend to be people earlier in their careers, people starting out, or people who are unhappy with their structure who tend to complete those questionnaires. So they are one tool to reference. They'll give you a rough idea, a little bit of a ballpark, but in the reality, in the real world, salary structures can be lower and higher, significantly lower and higher than what's published in those reports, and it might be appropriate and applicable to a certain circumstance. So let's talk about why that is. Why is the salary report really only one tool? So the number one reason is that it's a relatively small scale when we're thinking about all of the PAs out there in the marketplace, in the healthcare industry, or within a specialty. It's relatively small sampling. So that's number one. Number two, it's not taking into account, the reports are not taking into account any additional value that a certain PA is bringing to a practice or a facility. You know, is a particular PA going above and beyond what is really required of patient care? Are they doing anything business management wise, or managing staff, or helping with EMR, or helping with research, or anything at all? Or maybe this PA tends to, for some reason, doesn't like to use their PTO, so they're really super productive. Maybe they're generating a lot more revenue. Maybe they're able to see more patients than that they're comfortable doing that, more than what the facility was originally expecting. Or maybe vice versa. Maybe it's a PA who isn't comfortable seeing that many patients, or it's somebody that maybe has some personal things going on and hasn't been able to be present or takes a lot of time off. It's not a bad thing. Those are not a bad thing. But when it comes time to negotiate, they impact the ability of a PA to sometimes negotiate the higher end of the range or above what we see in the salary reports versus sometimes below. And the other thing the reports don't take into account, and this is the number one biggest thing, the absolute number one biggest thing, is the salary reports do not take into account anything about the business side of medicine. Does not take into account what the PA is able to generate based on their patient care. It does not take into account whether the payer balance, whether it's private insurance or Medicaid or cash pay industry. It doesn't take into account the way that the whole business model is structured with staff support, one of the most expensive, the biggest expenses with all medical practices. The salary reports don't take into account, if there's a lot of extra staff. So if it's a big facility with a lot of staff, right, then the collections need to cover a lot, as opposed to a smaller practice, smaller private practice. If there's just 3 or 4 or 5 providers, the expenses can be really lean when it comes to staff and things like that. It's not taking into account any of those things. It's not taking into account if there's changes in reimbursement amounts and all these sort of things. So why salary reports are only one tool out of many is that when you're looking at a PA salary, it's important to look at everything. So you're looking at, is a PA bringing more value to that particular practice, meaning that that PA is really difficult to replace, that if the PA were to leave and the facility was interviewing new PAs, would they be able to guarantee the next PA could bring the same skill sets? Maybe from the clinical standpoint and patient care, they could, but was the current PA doing anything in addition to a patient care that really makes that PA difficult to replace? And if that's true, most of the time, those type of PAs are really top earners, much, much higher than what the salary reports show, because they're bringing so much value that the facility really doesn't want to lose them. And then also, in that same note, the business model. Can the facility afford to pay any more based on that PA's collections? Like, is the PA in a specialty where they're generating personally, well over $1 million or something like that? So this would be a specialty that has a lot of procedures and things. Well, in that case, depending on the PA's choice of benefit packages, some PAs will waive some benefits and trade out for like percentages of productivity and things like that. And these are some of our colleagues in the PA profession that successfully negotiate a kind of a win-win situation with the practice and themselves, where they keep their own personal expenses really low and they're able to generate really high, and that's a win-win for everybody. And they're able to negotiate a percentage of collections that then their salary was typically, sometimes as much as double what we see in the salary reports, because it just makes sense from a cash flow standpoint. They're able to negotiate that. So it's really important to consider that the salary reports are one tool. They're a good tool, but they're just one tool. Talking to colleagues and things at conferences or in online discussion rooms and things is another tool. But keep in mind, when you're talking to those people, we also don't know what additional value they're bringing. We don't know the level of experience, the level of supervision. What are they doing that's making them irreplaceable? And we also don't know about the business model. We don't know about the business structure. How much is that PA generating? What are the expenses of that particular PA? What are the expenses of the whole facility? What is the vision of the facility to expand, which is in the greater good of everybody? Is that facility going to add new satellite offices or another provider, or buy some amazing new equipment that's going to benefit everybody? And if that's the case, then they need the money there rather than in salaries, but then the salary raise can come down the road. So there's a lot to consider outside of just the salary report alone. So I wanted to touch on that again in this video. Don't forget, if you're not sure how to negotiate and how to determine what makes sense, we have a whole on-demand course, Master the Boss Mindset Negotiation Masterclass. It's about 6 hours, qualifies for Category 2 CME. It comes with a 20-page workbook, and it teaches you exactly how to identify your career goals and if your practice or your facility aligns with that versus time to make an exit should you move on to something else. It teaches you how to calculate those cost to practice percentages to know if there is room from a business standpoint, from a cash flow standpoint, for you to negotiate a little bit more. So we teach you how to calculate, think like a boss. That's why we called it Master the Boss Mindset. And then the third module, we teach you how to bring more value so that you make yourself really hard to replace. And when you're really, really valued, think about yourself. If you hire somebody to take care of your kids or walk your dog, or personal assistant in some way, but or maybe it's your hairdresser or something, if they're bringing more value, if they're making more experience and they're going above and beyond, you're willing to pay a little bit more. And so we teach you how to do that in Module 3. In Module 4, we talk about contract terms. So take advantage of our on-demand course. It's on our website. It's available right now. We only have it available with some extra bonus modules a few times a year. Go to certifiedpaconsulting.com and you can look under masterclasses and you will see it there. All right, everybody, have a great, great week. Take advantage. Good luck out there. We're here for you. We also have career coaching services available if you're thinking about making a career transition. And if you're thinking about starting a business, we have an on-demand course, teaches you fundamentals of business, and we offer private coaching for people who are interested in starting a business as well. So for all of your needs that are not related to clinical care, your business needs, your salary, your career coaching, we are a resource. Check them all out. Tons of free videos in our video resource library. Check them out and contact us anytime you have questions. CertifiedPAconsulting.com. You can click the contact button there or connect with us on social media, Facebook or Instagram. All right, again, I'm Casey D'Amato, president of Certified PA Consulting. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next week.